What's up, guys? It's Monday morning here at Muscle Serpents Daily, and we're going to be talking about PIEDs today. I'm going to show you a litter I produced in 2019, and I want to show you all the different possibilities that you can get from PIEDs in this one litter, and what it really means to have a franchise, male in your collection. That means a male that is maybe a little more expensive than you want to really spend money on, but that will raise your collection to the next level, that will allow you to make things that are special, that people want, that look cool, are beautiful. And sometimes you gotta just, put out the money to have one or two of these animals in your collection. And when you do that, like I said, you're gonna produce stuff that's exquisite. It's not that I am that good of a breeder, because I'm not. I consider myself a beginner, I'm still learning. But I invested in a couple, high-end animals, and it enabled me to produce some cool stuff. Let's go inside and see what this litter has revealed. All right, today I'm going to talk a little bit about some cool pied stuff. A lot of people love pieds in the ball python world. This girl was one of the very first snakes I bought, actually, in my ball python collection, at least the first year. I bought her I was actually living in New York at the time, and I had come down to Cape Coral, where my girlfriend, fiance at the time, was living, and I went to the Fort Myers reptile show, and I always wanted to get into something leopard, and I saw this lesser leopard for sale, and there was actually a lesser leopard pastel, which was a lot more expensive. I was thinking about buying her, and I said, you know what? And even my wife actually is the one who said, I like the stripe. This kind of looks better, even though it doesn't have the pastel gene in it. So we said, okay. So I went up buying this, and he couldn't ship it right away because it was really cold. So I had to wait like 3 months till I finally got the snake. And when I got it, and I was really learning just about ball pythons at the time and the different morphs. And I started to really, take a good look at her. And I had read somewhere or watched a video where someone said, totally striped looking leopards a lot of times are het pied. This girl wasn't sold as a het pied. And, and I started looking at the bottom of her, and I started seeing like the railroad kind of a track looking markers. I said, I wonder if this girl is het pied, because it was not an expensive snake. And many years later, it took about 3 years, 4 years, I think, before she finally bred. And she proved that as het pied. So that was really cool. So this past year, I bred her. I produced some really good stuff from her. This past year, I really produced some really nice babies from her. And I'm going to show you, I bred her to one of my super studs, my Banana Enchi, Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, pied, who's also proved out to be het hypo this past year, and he's 50% het albino too, so that's usually her mate the past 2 years, and I'm going to probably do it again this year. Actually, I'm doing one of the siblings actually this year, but let me show you what she produced this past season, because these babies haven't gone up for sale yet. I think a lot of people are going to be really interested in them. This first baby I want to show you is a Leopard Enchi pied. I'm pretty sure it's pied. It looks like it almost be het pied with a ringer, but that's pretty pied-ish to me. Really nice looking coloration. I love leopard, and I love leopard pieds. And then of course you get that enhancer, that Enchi that just brings everything out. And what Enchi does a lot of times, some people don't realize this, is Enchi actually reduces the amount of white in the pieds. That's why I'm positive this is a pied, visually speaking. And if the Enchi wasn't in here, we probably would see a lot more white, because leopard pieds usually have a lot of white in them. So there's the tip-off. If you guys want to try to help identify some of the stuff that you produce, Enchi puts color back into pieds. All right, here is a lesser yellow belly. This is definitely lesser. You can see the stripe here, the really reduced color as a pattern. Then you can see the yellow belly, the blushing here. It could be Enchi. Not sure. I'll put it down as a possible Enchi. It's 100% het pied. Also, all these babies, especially the last one too, 50% het hypo, 50% het albino as well. So the albino is not for sure, but the because I haven't tried to prove out this year. I'm gonna try to prove out and see if that male is also het albino, which would be insane if he was that male. The dad of this litter is crazy. Think about it. He's banana, orange dream, enchi, yellow belly, pied, 100% het hypo. Could be 100% het albino too. Just nuts. Just a powerhouse for sure. So look how clean the head is. Nice snake. Good female here if you're looking to breed, you know, put into your PIED program. A lot of good potential here. Relatively inexpensive. All right, this is Leopard for sure. Orange Dream. Enchi. 100% het pied, and then of course 50% het albino and het hypo. But this is your typical looking leopard. Once again, Enchi kind of messes with the pattern a little bit. Orange Dream can mess with the pattern as well. Just a nice looking female. Because the male was a banana, all the non-bananas are going to be females. You know, every once in a while you get a little anomaly. And we've talked about the sex-linked genetics of bananas before. If you go back and watch that video I did, look at that head. Look at that little isolated head stamp there. That's just gorgeous. Very clean looking animal. That's how you know there's definitely Enchi in there too. That metallic-y look to it. Once again, another good female. You know, I tend to want to keep every female that I produce that has het pied, and I don't know why. Just like you can never have too many females, but this is het pied. So it'll be up on Morph Market. I'm going to start listing these as well. If you're interested, you can always reach out to me. Very nice coloration on this. Now we're going to get into the boys because these are all bananas. This guy was up on my Instagram, and people really, really liked him, and you can see why. Look how clean he is. This is a powerhouse for sure. Banana Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, Leopard, Lesser, 100% het pied, and then of course 50% het albino, het hypo. I mean, this is a boy that could change your collection for sure. And I'm almost tempted to keep him because he looks so great. But he's only 100% het pied, so for my purposes, a little frisky too. For my purposes, I really want visuals at this point, but he is so clean. I mean, this is an exquisite example. Look at the way the Orange Dream interacting with the Enchi and the banana here. And Lesser really takes a lot of that purple out of the banana, I always find. Just a very interesting looking, clean looking male here that's a genetic powerhouse for sure. And because he's not 100% het pied, he's going to be a lot more reasonable in price once I put him up. All right, this is what happens when you mix pied and lesser together. Lesser pieds are all white. It's the telltale signs that they leave behind that sometimes can tip you off as to what else is in here. It's hard to say for sure. I would say it's Lesser Leopard pied. It is a female. I forgot I didn't show this one off. So there's no banana in there, more than likely. There is a possibility of Orange Dream, although I find that in lesser pieds, usually you'll see the little orangey blotches around there if they're in there. It's possibly Yellow Belly. Of course, it's 50% het hypo and 50% het albino as well. But just look at that. I mean, this is a really nice looking. I love that head pattern. And the eyes on the lesser pieds are always a little on the smaller side. But look at the way that pattern interacts. It's really hard to pick up on the camera. Just really, it's a nice looking snake. I mean, it just kind of looks cool. Once again, if you like all white stuff and you don't really know what you're going to get, and you got you like to play the Christmas, opening up the Christmas gifts, you breed this little girl, and you never know what you're gonna get. I actually kept someone back just like her. Now, I was thinking that this was more brown, but I'm looking at it. It's looking more and more grayish color or almost like purpley looking to me. I don't think, I mean, it's always possible there's banana in here because you could get anomalies, you know, but I don't know. Once again, you're not going to know what's in this girl until you breed her out. There's definitely lesser pied in here. This is 100% confirmed. Everything else is up for speculation. For this last stutter of this litter, this last little boy, we're going to go outside because I think the light is necessary to capture the brilliance and beauty of this snake. Really, I mean, you think about it. This is more than likely a leopard, banana, Enchi orange dream, possibly yellow belly, pied, also 50% head hypo, 50% head albino. This is the creme de la creme of this litter. It is a male. I produced something very similar to this last year. So I will probably, more than likely, put this boy, as exquisite as he is, up for sale. It's not going to be cheap because he can, once again, he is a nation creator. Look at this pattern right here. Look at the craziness that's going on. Look at those purples. And like I said, I had to take it outside because luckily we're in Florida. The weather's nice. You can only see the brilliance of this pattern when you go outside in the sun, natural sunlight, and see this. Look at that. Look at that tail. Look at, it looks like Picasso took his brush and painted this snake. That's how beautiful this thing is. And this thing will breed more than likely next year. It's got some nice size on it already. It's eating well. And once again, it doesn't get much nicer than this. I mean, if I could produce only these, I'd be a happy man. What happens is you start to take the stuff for granted. You know, you produce something this beautiful 2 years in a row, and sometimes you say, oh, it's easy, but it's not easy. But if you put this into your collection and breed it some pieds, you're going to produce some really nice stuff. And that's the key. Look, if you want to make nice stuff, you have to buy some expensive investment animals, I call them, and everyone else calls them. You don't have to have a lot of them. You have to have a couple of, like you have to have one marquee player. Like, how these football teams like have Peyton Manning or Eli Manning, you have to have that one franchise player who's going to help you make your collection special. Otherwise, you're just going to have average stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. If you like breeding for the sake of breeding, fine. But if you're really serious about producing different stuff and new stuff, you got to have something that's just going to, raise the bar a little bit. And this beauty right here is, I'm very happy the way he came out. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that really cool pied litter. And you see, sometimes, you buy something, early in your career, so to speak, of breeding ball pythons, and it turns out to be something special. That leopard lesser that I purchased, for a couple $100 at a Fort Myers reptile show, proved to be het pied. And look at the exquisite babies it made when I combined it with that franchise male that I purchased from Ozzy, many years later. And it just worked out for me. And so sometimes, like I said, always invest, get good females, start growing them up. If you're just starting out, don't worry about the males yet. Males take 1 year in their breeding, if that long. So get your females, stock them up, think about what you want to do in the future, and then save up your pennies because you got to buy one good male. And that one good male can make you a lot of great males in the future. And that's what I did with that litter. So, I mean, if you like that, what you saw, and you think it's cool, you can do that too. It's just you got to plan and hopefully have a little bit of good luck. And if you have an animal, like I showed you, maybe that last animal, you get that into your collection. Before you know it, within a year's time, you could be producing some awesome stuff as well. But that's the name of the game. It's whatever you want. You dictate the animals you want. You dictate what your goals are in breeding. And don't worry about what anyone else is doing. That's the take-home message. All right, guys, if you like the channel, you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, hit the like button, and we'll see you back tomorrow morning.